This morning on our special series, Green Your Routine, we're talking about saving paper. About 40% of the trash you find in our nation's landfills is made up of paper products. While everyone's doing a lot better these days recycling newspaper and plain paper, there is still more we can do, including a couple of small steps you may not have thought about. It would seem impossible to get through our daily lives without paper and paper products. But with 30% of timber being used to create paper, it's important to find creative ways to conserve what we use, starting at the ATM.
I always do take my receipt though, and then after a while I just rip it up, and that's it.
This may not look like much, but consider this. In this country, every year there are nearly 8 billion ATM transactions. Now, a lot of people will take their receipt out, they'll look at their balance, and they'll throw it away. You figure it out. If no one took an ATM receipt, that would save 2 billion feet of paper, enough to circle the Earth 15 times. Is this little receipt from an ATM really going to make a difference?
Paper consumption is actually higher now than it ever has been, and deforestation is actually the second leading cause of global climate change. So when you put it into the perspective of, let's say, an ATM receipt, it takes 600,000 tons of paper each year to produce the receipts we get from our banks, our gas stations, our retailers. When you break that down into the resources that power the process, it's 9 million trees, enough water to supply 100 American homes, 234 million gallons of oil.
Okay, you've got me convinced. Alternatives include checking your balance on the ATM screen or online. So if you don't really need that receipt, skip it. Another big paper problem, napkins.
I usually take 3 or 4 napkins every time I go to a restaurant.
I always take a lot of napkins because I'm always worried that something's going to go on my clothes.
Every person in this country uses on average a little more than that, 6 paper napkins a day. Taking just one less would keep 150 million out of landfills each year. As we found at the NBC commissary, some folks do take more than they need. And while those napkins may eventually be used, some clean ones do inevitably wind up in the trash.
Obviously, recycling is a huge part of the solution, but it's not the only part. So yeah, little things like saying no to ATM receipts or paper napkins really will make a huge difference.
And, you know, we'd like to find out how each of you is pledging to green your routine. You can tell us by going to our website at todayshow.com. And while you're there, you can also register to win an eco vacation in Costa Rica. When we come back, the secret is almost out. Who is People Magazine's sexiest man of the year, or alive, or whatever? We'll find out. But first, this is Today on NBC.